Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of Play the Tape. I'm your host, Derek J. Fields. Listen, it feels good. It's a blessing to be here today. It's a blessing to share our experience, strength, and hope. That's what we do here on this platform of Play the Tape. Listen, full disclaimer, I am not a licensed drug and alcohol counselor. I'm not a certified drug and alcohol counselor. I'm not a licensed social worker. I did get my peer support specialist. I am excited about that. But we do, and we have, and we will have licensed clinical therapists. We will have certified alcohol and drug counselors. We will have licensed and licensed social workers. And we have, and we will, because we want to get all aspects of addiction and mental illness and even suicide awareness and prevention when it comes to Play the Tape, because that's what we do. We play that tape all the way through so we can make sure that we can hear the goodness, the badness, and the ugly when it comes to mental health, addiction, and suicide prevention. So that's what we do on this platform. It's about education, it's about support, it's about community, and it's about strengthening our resilience, which builds character, which builds perseverance. My guest today is my brother, someone that I look up to very, very much. He's a man of God. He's a man of faith. He walks with Christ, and his story and his testimony is so powerful and inspirational. I needed to get him up here so he can share. So without further ado, I want to introduce my brother, Joseph. How you doing today? Thank you for being here.
Thank you for giving me the privilege to even be on here. Play the tape. Man, bro, my hat's off to you. You're doing good things.
I appreciate that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Myself, I'm grateful for being here today. Having another day to live. You know, life itself can be challenging. But other than that, I'm grateful.
Good. I'm glad. It's been a minute since we had really seen each other, and God had put it on my heart because your number had changed, and I wanted, and that happens sometimes. And I was like, oh, I don't know how to get, but God worked it out. God worked it out. Then I got my brother, and now you're on the show to give your experience, strength, and hope, to give your testimony. And brother Joseph, Mr. Joseph, I show respect. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the way I was brought up.
Yeah. You ain't said tell him how old I was.
I didn't. I just said I didn't. But you. See, that's what we do too. Laughter is healing. Right. Things get heavy, life gets heavy. But we put our faith in Christ, and we laugh and we have fun because we build connection. But Mr. Joseph, my brother Joseph, my mentor, he's a mentor of mine. Like, I learned a lot from him in the time we have spent together. So wherever you want to start, the floor is yours. It's you can play your tape. Yes, sir.
Well, first I want to say thank you for allowing me to be who I am on this platform, because a lot of people wouldn't do it. The other thing, we met in Safe Harbor, and that's going to be later on into my experience, strength, and hope. My story began way back when I was a real baby boy, basically, just fresh out the womb, basically. The years of 3 years old, I believe it was, my stepdad and my mom had separated. And he used to line us up. He used to spin records every Friday, and he used to line us up and give us a shot of Crown Royal. And whoever didn't frown get another shot. So me being what I want some more. So I wouldn't frown, so I get me another shot. Well, the disease of addiction took off right there. Our room was like right off the side of the where his bar was kept, and I used to sneak out and come around the corner and drink out the bottle until he found out that the liquor bottle was being emptied without him drinking it. And he put one plus one together and figured out we was doing it and beat us half to death that day. Um, from that, I grew an obsession of, and it just wasn't just about the drugs and alcohol. I'm going to say that first.
Mm-hmm.
It was, I did not want no one to tell me what I can and can't do, regardless what the rule was. I'm going to say it that way. And I've only found that out later on in life. At that time and moment, I didn't understand what the disease of addiction was. I just saw some liquor and I wanted some more. It was something my dad said I couldn't have, and I wanted some more. We grew up in the streets of in Chicago, Illinois, in the 60s, 70s. And of course, gangs was really prevalent at that time. Uh, you don't have a choice. It's like you're part of it. You know, your friends, you go to school, you hang out, you thug out, you do slap boxing, you fight, you steal, you rob, you know, do the same thing. That's what we did on the streets of Chicago. And unfortunately, they came up with a name with that, and that's called gang affiliation. Um, that was a thing that was beyond my control. I didn't understand what it was really going on at the time. And as time progressed, you know, time went on. Well, my mom and my dad had separated. My mom moved to Flint, Michigan, around about age of 10 when she came back to pick me up. Uh, Between that time, my brother and I had decided we wanted to start our own little thing, and we started selling drugs in early age. I probably was 6, 7 years old when I smoked my first joint.
Mm-hmm.
It's gambling, and my dad, he had a pool table downstairs, and we did all these negative things. Now, mind you, I said before I was 10. My
Right.
mom came and got me at 10 years old. So I was already in a life of criminal activity. And that's why they say that in Chicago, a man is not known to live past 35 because his life just takes off in a fast lane real fast. Everything is hustle and bustle. Um, I'm gonna say my mama came and rescued me from all of that madness for real. That's how I look at it.
Right.
And I didn't even look at it at that point of being rescued, but that's what it was. I was being rescued from what is called um, what's that word I'm looking for? Catastrophic events that was going through. Um, in 1977, that's how I became a Cowboy fan, but we ain't gonna talk about that.
You and my brother will get along just fine.
Yeah. We don't need to talk about that part because that's a whole nother topic. So my mom came and got me in 1977, and my teacher told her that I was bad. I was running around, being ruckus and disorderly. So she said, "You don't have to never worry about that again." So I was puzzled, like, "What do you mean? I'm coming to live with you?" Oh, okay, I was happy, but I didn't know we was moving to a whole new state. I thought we were just
Right.
gonna move around the block and go to another school or whatever the case may be. Now, I do want to go back a little bit and explain uh, my upbringing because it has a lot to do with who I am today. In my upbringing in Chicago, I had my grandmother, Grandmama Terry, and she used to be this matriarch. She's deceased now, may the Lord rest her soul in peace.
Mm-hmm.
But she was the matriarch of the family, right? She taught us basically how to defend ourselves, right? My
Right.
grandmother. They said my granddad, I said my grandmother. And what I mean by that, she toted a gun wherever she went. Didn't hesitate to pull it out, walked around with it out. If she was more in the yard, she had it out. If somebody parked in her spot, she went and knocked on the neighbor's door with her gun in her hand. She was zero tolerance. To where she had laid the foundation basically for the organization, I'm gonna say, on our block.
Mm-hmm.
She became the block party head neighborhood watch, what they call it today, but she was the head person for the block, for our block. We also then opened up the fire hydrant and had block parties. Her sons had DJ equipment, not DJ equipment, but band equipment, guitars and drums. You know, they played in bands, sung and all that. My Uncle Keith and Uncle D Wood and all of them had all the girls and all that other stuff. And we always had good times.
Right.
There was always the center focal point of it, really. Uh, However, at the time, gangs was going on a whole lot there.
Was this your mom's mom or your dad's mom?
My dad's mom. My
O-
mom's mom passed before. We're gonna. That's another
Okay.
part of my story we get
Okay.
to.
Okay.
So this was my stepdad. His what I thought was my dad at the time. I didn't know he was my stepdad. So this was between ages of 0 to 10. We had all these block parties and all this other stuff and all this going on. My grandmama used to always say, "I will put a bullet in your tail," right? And I'm gonna keep it, censored. And I used to always think, what she mean by that? She said, if I shoot one, I'm gonna shoot everybody else because I ain't gonna get enough. I ain't gonna get a lot of time for shooting a lot of people. They're gonna think I'm crazy. You see the image start going in my head.
Right.
But if I shoot one, they're gonna try to give me life. So I'm gonna shoot a lot of people. So one day somebody was trying to break in her car and she shot that gun from the house. And I could hear this loud bang, bow. I'm like, what the world? So she called my name and I thought she get ready to kill me. So I was like, no, I ain't going in there. No, I wasn't done by far. I was nothing. Nah, I ain't going in there.
Right.
But she was telling me what had happened. And I was saying all that to say that even my grandmama, she taught me how to protect the family. That's basically what the story was about. She groomed me to teach me how to take care of my family. And that's what I took when I went to Flint, Michigan with my mom. I
Mm-hmm.
believed that I was I was the oldest because my older sister, my older brother didn't want to go. So they didn't, I was the oldest there.
Right.
So I took care of my family. My mom's husband at the time, he was into armed robbery and he got caught robbing the store around the corner and got sentenced to 8 years in the Jackson Penitentiary. Well, got sentenced to 20 to 40, excuse me. No less than 20 and no more than 40 was his sentence. And that came right after I got there, maybe a month or two. I remember so vividly the police coming in, kicking the door, and he ran upstairs and hid in the attic and they was waving their guns and all this other stuff and they pulled him out. We was watching the Incredible Hulk on TV, back then you watched that on TV on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
They took him and drug him outside. Well, my mom at that time told me that neither one of them was my dad. That my dad, she had a one night stand with me and had me from that one night stand.
And she telling you this are you still 10 at this time when this is being told to you?
Yes, sir. 10 years
Okay.
old. She told me that wasn't my dad. And at that time, she told me she wanted to. She went back tried to get the money from my dad, and he gave her the money. And instead of aborting me, she tried to OD. My mom was a heroin addict and alcoholic, and she tried to use drugs. She said uh, to take me out. So I didn't know this at the time, and when she told me that I was a fetal alcohol syndrome baby, and I didn't understand. Now my mind is really clouded now because here it is, the person that said that they love me said they didn't want me. So she told me that she was going to give me to her sister because her sister couldn't have children, and that fell through. She decided not to do that. So here I am. I'm confused of who I am, my identity. I don't have a dad. I don't know who he at. She giving me these stories. I don't understand. I got brothers and sisters. So I just pressed on, pushing it under the rug, thinking I was okay.
Mm-hmm.
However, my negativity lashed out. And what I mean by my negativity is 10 years old, I took the streets of Chicago and moved it in my mom's house in Flint, Michigan, and started doing the same negative things. My mom at the time was her and her husband was the weed people, and she had this can of weed. She used to put a weed in. I used to go in the can and take it to school and smoke it and sell it. This is in 5th grade, 10 years old. My life was really like shambles. All the way till the 11, till I was 11 years old. My
Hmm.
mama, right around 10, 11, my mom decided she was going to put away her earthly things and became a Jehovah's Witness. That's when the spiritual part of me came. Because when I say I grabbed hold of the religion, and I'm saying that for a reason, the reason
Right.
why I grabbed hold of the religion was because it sounded good at the beginning. It gave me some hope, and
Right.
it gave me a new avenue, another outlet, another
It was
something
contrast.
different.
Right. It was contrast to what you've known from birth to 10 years old, almost 11. It was a
Right.
complete 180 to
Hmm.
what you've experienced already. So yeah, I could understand that. Yeah.
I was so happy at that time. I mean, the only part that wasn't too happy, but I was grateful because I could stand up to it. You know, kids ridicule why you don't celebrate Christmas and you don't get nothing for your birthday and all that. I don't care. I got everything I need anyway. I'm
Hmm.
still living. That's why that didn't bother me. I used to stand up there and I give talks in front of the congregation and things of that nature. And man, it was just beautiful
Right.
until that other thing came called puberty.
Yeah, my boy right there with it. He 15. He 15.
Yes, puberty came on, and the religion and spiritual, all that was like, no, I want to go out here. I want to figure out what this is about, you know.
Right. Yeah.
And girls got on my mind, and it was just a wrap. It was like back old Chicago came back, you know, and my mom, she was like in between, and she didn't know what to do. But one day, in my God fearing personality, my mom was we was on welfare, so we didn't. She didn't have a job. Her mom and daddy died before she turned 10 years old, so her sisters raised her. Uh, she had her first child at 14, my oldest brother. My mama ran the streets, drug addict, alcoholic. I can name a lot of things. However, she persevered through all of this.
Hmm.
Um, I can honestly say that from what she had was given, she did a good thing. And I mean that by saying she dropped out of school in the sixth grade. Mind you, I was doing the same thing that she was doing in the sixth grade, right? 10, 11 years old, 10, 11 years old. She decided she wasn't going to school no more. From that, uh, she ran the streets, got uh, hooked up with her baby daddy. I don't know if they got married at 14, but they got married soon after. And while he went off to the army, she had messed around and had me. And when he came back, he had my little brother. So she had 4 children before she was 21 years old. And also, several times he beat her, abused her, all of that. He went to court, and the judge told him he couldn't have the children. And he was like, over his dead body, everybody be dead if anything happened. So my mama had did the best thing she could think of, and that was leave, get herself together, then come back.
Right.
And from the age of 5, or the age of 3, excuse me, to 5, I didn't see my mom until Easter of 5 years old. And then from 5 to 10, I didn't see her again until she walked into that elementary school and picked me up. Uh, she went from one bad thing to another bad thing. She went from being abused physically to being abused mentally. I'm gonna say it that way.
Right.
Uh,
Yeah.
her her husband then was a pimp, and he ran women on the streets of Chicago. And then they left Chicago and went to Flint, Michigan to get away from all of that, to start over, to start a family and all of that good stuff. However, you couldn't take the hustle and bustle out of them. And
Right.
the little time that I was with them, I saw what he was doing, things he did, you know, the street hustle mentality. Although we had already was doing that, you know, years back because we was in Chicago. That was a prevalent thing back then, was selling weed. So my mom used to pack the weed in the cigarette box. we take the tobacco out the cigarette box and pack it and send it back to the jail for him to make money. And I'm saying all these things because it comes back.
Right. Right.
All of this, I never thought that this was stuff was teaching me nothing. I saw it and brushed it off. But when my turn came, it came back really quick. Like I knew what to do in this situation, but I didn't know that that's what was being done. So when my mom became a Jehovah's Witness, we had a conflict of interest because now the little innuendos of people talking about how poor we was getting to me. So one day, I asked my mom, what did she think that she was going to do after we leave? Was she going to get welfare for the rest of her life? That they was going to cut her off? And a bulb went off in her head. I was 14, but she was mad that I said that. She was mad. Oh Lord, she was mad. But a light bulb went off in her head, and she went down there and got her GED, got a job working at the High Regency. Then she got a job working at the Genesee County Board of Education. Those are the good things that happen.
Right.
But in the other part of it, we still was grateful because of what my mom was doing, the spiritual part. But at the time, we couldn't see it. My mom had 6 children. Now she had a grandbaby. All of us had our own room. We had a burglar alarm on our house, a washer and dryer, and a car. And my mom was on welfare. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
At that time, I didn't think of nothing about no spirituality part. I wanted more. That wasn't enough. I wanted more stuff. My mom wasn't on no drugs no more. She made us go to the Kingdom Hall and go door to door to field service and all this stuff. And I was like, man, I don't want to do this. So my mom said, it's time for me to go to school. Graduate from school. And I'm saying all of these because all of this stuff that I didn't think that it was going to groom me to be who I am today, I didn't know that.
Right.
And my mom had told me that she said I had a choice. I had a choice to have a graduation party or not. And I told her, I said, well, I don't want a graduation party. I had a girlfriend at the time, and my girlfriend told me to go to the military because that's where my brothers went, my uncles went, my stepdads went, everybody in my family went to the military.
Right.
So my mom didn't want me to go to the military. She wanted me to do the Jehovah's Witness thing. And I told her, that's not for me right now. I'm not ready for that right now. So I went to the military. And I had to say, hindsight now, it was the best suggested idea I got from someone else that I followed through on and went to the military.
Yeah, same. Me too. That was part of I saw my brother do it. I saw my dad do it. And it was a way for me to not get stuck in situations or in a small town or in that time who my dad was because of his trauma and the things he saw as a kid and the things he's experienced in the military wasn't addressed at that time. He's a different person now, of course, because we get to see the progression. We get to see how God works in people. And it's like, okay, brought you out of it, helped you persevere, and did the same for me. So I'm with you with that. I chose the military route because I wasn't definitely ready to go to college. I definitely ready wasn't, because it was like you, it was the spirituality, the religion was prophesized. Like, Derek, you're going to do this and you're going to do that. And I'm like, nah, I don't want that. I want to go see the world.
That's right. Let me see what's on the other side of this fence.
On the other side, and I know the military. Yeah. I can go get paid. I can go look good. I can go see some women, and see what the world is about. So I'm with you on that aspect of it. So yes,
that's right. Now, in that, as I was growing up and we was in a Jehovah's Witness thing, it was some things that I had seen that changed a lot of things in my life. Right. I'm gonna go back to when I was living in Chicago with my grandmother. I was molested by my sisters and my aunt, and what I mean by that was because they was a little older than me and they knew better. I didn't know what I was doing. so that shied me away from a particular color skin of females.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say it that way because it was trauma. You know, I didn't want to be around that no more. I didn't know how to express myself about that because men didn't get sexually abused by women.
Right, right. And then
So
definitely didn't know how to talk about it. Definitely
especially
didn't
your
know how to talk about it. Right. Especially in
especially
our
your sister.
community. Yeah, absolutely not. Family member in our community? No, 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 no. That didn't happen. And hush, we'll.
That's right. We're not even.
So, yeah.
So I had that in. Then when I was living in when I moved to Flint with my mom, I saw Lord have mercy. This man set himself on fire because his wife wanted to leave him right in the front yard of my house. I mean, I was upstairs in my
Wow.
bedroom, and all of a sudden I heard my mom screaming, "Don't do it, don't do it." And I was like, I know ain't nobody messing with my mama. And all of a sudden woof, you can see the flames come up, set himself on fire because she wanted to leave him because he was cheating. Um, couldn't mess with those type of women either. I was like, that must be some good stuff. Set
Yeah.
yourself on fire.
Yeah.
Man, I don't want that. Nah, I'm good.
All right.
so, so I'm saying all of this to say because it ultimately impacted of what women I wanted to be around in my life and the reason why. I didn't think of what it was going to do growing up, but it came back. Growing up, when I was in high school, I had a girlfriend. I didn't think that I was attracted or anything like that. I didn't think that women, I didn't think that, none of that. Because in my brain, a man was supposed to be able to do for a woman, and I couldn't do for one because we was poor. I didn't have no money. I would hustle, shoot dice, gamble, steal, rob, whatever I had to do to get something. That's what I did. That's
Right.
what I was taught. But I knew that wasn't no man to take on the manhood of a household, you know, because I saw the end result, what happened in my
Mm-hmm.
brain. You know, you're gonna go to prison. One day it's gonna happen. You're gonna get caught. Then your girl gonna be by herself. Somebody else gonna come back. But I watched my mom for 8 years stand by this man and waited on him. That was a big impact to me as well. If it wasn't for her being I'm just saying, her being in the religion that she was in, it didn't matter if it was Christianity, Protestant, Muslim, Buddhism. It doesn't even matter. It's the fact that she had the spirituality to understand that that was her husband, and she had to honor him regardless where he was at, and she
Right.
stood by him. That's
Right.
the part I got out of it. So
Right.
I'm not glorifying a religion. It was just the spiritual part of she took on and said, "This is what I'm going to do," because we all fall short. You know,
Yes.
there's nobody above no one.
Absolutely.
Um,
And I say that too.
you-
I let people know because people get to the point where they, oh, Derek, you think you're better, you think you're morally superior. I'm like, no, I am better. I am no better, no worse than anybody. I've fallen short. I have shortcomings. I have wrongdoings. I have faults. I have a sinful nature. I'm no better or worse than anybody. I have made mistakes. I have hurt people as well. And I'm still trying to live my amends just for today to make
Mhm.
sure that they know that I'm doing better, not just saying it, but I'm
That's right.
living it. Yeah. So
That's right.
yeah, I'm with you with that whole thing of yeah, we've all fallen short of the glory.
We
Absolutely.
all fall short.
All fall
And
short.
so, mhm. And so from that, some good things happened while I was in school. I had I went to school auto mechanics. We had this 67 Buick LeSabre that sat in the driveway for like 2 years. And I told my mom one day, I ran home, I was like 14, 15 years old, ran home and told my mom, "Hey mom, I can fix it." She said, "Huh?" I said, "Give me this amount." And went to the and I'm telling you, I was a little boy.
Yeah.
14, 15 years old. I'll never forget it. I went to the junkyard, got the part, came home, put it in the car, and started the car up. My mom was so happy, right? So happy. Here it is. I fixed something that was broken for so long in our house. So I
Hmm.
became the go-to guy. I painted our house, when I say painting, I painted it like it was a professional painter at 15 years old, man. We
Nice.
had roaches. I had to exterminate the house. Yeah, I
Yeah.
had to do that. I was the oldest. My oldest brother was in the army. He wasn't there. My oldest sister, she couldn't do nothing. So I was the next oldest. My stepdad was in prison.
When
So
doing
everything. Go ahead.
when doing that, when doing that, did that give you a sense of responsibility, a sense of duty that could deter you from going back into the streets? If you're providing, if you think this is a good way to provide and be that for your family, be that for your mother, be that provide, as you say, this is, even though you there might not be income, but you're providing in other ways to make sure that the house and the family is stable. Did that at that point give you a sense of, and I don't want to say pride, but responsibility or joy to make you step back and be like, maybe I don't need to hustle. Maybe there's something different out there.
The need for wanting more attention,
Okay.
more love, more gratification, more. I wanted more. That's it. Didn't matter what it was, more. That's my disease of addiction. That's the nature of the disease. I want more. I'm never satisfied. Now here it is. I'm 15 years old. I'm not even thinking about that. I'm thinking that's what we're supposed to do at 15,
Mm-hmm.
right? I hung a basketball goal up on my garage. I do all of this stuff. Change a tire. We had a flat on the interstate. I changed the tire. At 15, 16 years old, man. Normal people are going, man, this is what I was doing,
Right.
right? I was living past my years, basically, but doing the responsible things. Now, I'm all a bit about 5'4", 3'2", 1", whatever, a buck soaking wet on a good day, and my brother standing like 5'11", and I'm taking up for him.
Mm.
Because I learned how to fight better than he did. He didn't get the end of the stick. That's just how it was. Wasn't nothing that I couldn't obtain to do at the time that I thought, right?
Right.
So one day my mom told me, let my brother fight his own battle. I said, okay, I'll let him fight. So when he beat the dude up, he said, see, Joe, I told you I can fight. You should have did this. You ain't do nothing, right? I blew it off like, man, you ain't do nothing. But he did.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, you ain't that. So, the sense of my brothers and sisters looking up to me was a lot. That meant a whole lot to me.
Right. And that's what I meant. Them looking at you, the defender, the protector, the fixer.
Yeah.
Right. And even though you said, and you made a good point, because even that can be addictive. Even the attaboys or the admiration can become addictive because I have an addictive personality too, to more. I want more,
Right.
like yourself, where it could be adoration, it could be attaboys, it could be good
That's
stuff,
right.
it could be bad stuff, or whatever's in between. But I want more of it, so I can
More.
understand that part of the disease because I have it myself.
Yeah. So in my mom's uniqueness, she taught me how to sew. She taught me how to grocery shop. She taught me how to cook. She taught me how to wash my clothes, separate the colors from the whites and all of this stuff. And I used to say, why we got to do all this, Mom? She said, boy, if I don't teach you, you'll never learn how to do it. Right? I said, you're right. I ain't think of that. But the other part to this was, she said, I have to teach you this because I don't see you having a wife ever in your life. And that threw me aback. Like, what you mean? I can't get married? That's what you're saying? She was like, no, I don't think so. Put that in the back pocket. Okay. So, I don't want to go through how many girls and all that other stuff. It wasn't what I wanted, right? Because I couldn't do the things that I wanted to do for women. So I try to stay away from that type of environment. And I had girlfriends, don't get me wrong. And when I went into the military, I was kind of like still shy. I'm going to say that word. I pretended like I was out there, but I wasn't. I was really shy from women because of me being molested when I was young. I didn't grasp the hold of the concept of girlfriend boyfriend thing. I just thought it was just girlfriend boyfriend. That was good enough. Kiss, and that's it. Um, I didn't have no children until I was 24, 25 years old. Yeah. I got married. I went to the military. Now, before I went to the military, I was I went to, I don't know if anybody can understand this, but General Motors of Institution of Technology. I wanted to be the first person to be able to record a radio,
Mm-hmm.
record a tape while you driving down the road. Because I used to always say, man, a song come on and you have to wait till it come back on when you get at home. I wanted to make the radio to where it could record right there on the road while you was
Right.
driving. And that was my inspiration. I had a Pell Grant to go to ITT Tech, and I turned it down. I could have went there. I went to General Motors Institution of Technology after school, which is called the Shop in Michigan.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we used to go to University of Michigan to shoot basketball for fun, the pool and all that other stuff. And I forego all of that to go to the military because of one thing. I was selfish. I didn't know how to provide. I didn't even know how to work for somebody. I was really unemployable because I didn't like taking direction. I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
say it that way.
Okay.
Right.
And you thought the military would be a way for that to
That's
work
right.
itself out. Okay. Yeah. Because you
I would
can,
be forced.
while you're
That's
learning to take it, you can still make a paycheck. You can still
that's right.
provide. Okay. Okay.
There you go. And
Mm-hmm.
that was the real reason why I didn't go to the to college and stuff, because the lady told me I had to provide for myself. I was supposed to go to Fort Wayne, Indiana with my buddy. Me and him was going to ITT Tech together. At that time, I was like, nah, I'm not even ready for that. Get up and go to work. I don't even know what work is. A paycheck? What you talking about? My mom didn't teach me that part because she just started learning it herself. So she can't teach me something that she don't know nothing about.
Right. Got you. Okay.
I grasped that understanding part, but I didn't know what to do. So that's what my girlfriend told me. Why don't you go to the military? And my brother told me don't go to the Army or the Marine Corps. So that left two, Air Force or the Navy. Couldn't go to Air Force. I wasn't smart enough for them.
Yeah, same.
So,
I
so
wanted to.
I wasn't smart enough for them. I barely graduated. I graduated in the middle of there was 300 and just say 380 people to graduate. I was like 180. I wasn't the last, but I wasn't the first either. So there
Right.
was some people that
Yeah.
went under. So I went into the Navy, and here, man, I'm talking about, and this is where my life is now starting to evolve now, right? Because now I'm off the front porch, literally. The chain is off me, and I'm in the world, right?
Yeah. Yes. In the world. Yes.
I'm gone. So I got my little bag, the little bag, you know, the little bag you put your stuff in, you put on the stick. I'm running away from home.
Right. Yeah.
I had a little handkerchief because I ain't
That's
have
the
a whole
tip.
lot.
Right. Yeah.
I had a handkerchief. And I'm saying this, and I wanted to go back some. The reason why I didn't want no introduction was because I didn't want no one to say, because they not that, or they didn't do this, or they didn't do that. They can't do what I've done. And that's become who you are today, right?
Yes. That
I
is
don't want
definitely
the
how
disease of
society.
addiction. Right. I don't
Yeah.
want the disease of addiction to name something to keep you from changing your life to being who you need to be, because that's what it did to me. I went in the military in 1985, and that's when my troubles began. And I mean, I had a rough childhood, mediocre childhood, whatever childhood somebody want to call it. That's them. I'm still here. I moved on. I got to the age of 18. Thankfully, I made it. I remember my mama telling me she was gonna put me out. I said, "Mom, if you just let me make 18, I get out your hair. I would definitely do it." And I did that. I noticed that I wanted to do something different other than what my mom was doing. I wanted it to be on my own, but I didn't know how to do it. So I would join the military and went in boot camp, and wow, rude awakening. The first day, uh, pretty good. We
Mhm.
get to Orlando, Florida. Somebody died right there. Got electrocuted by the lightning. I'm like, what did I sign up for? Wow.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I said. Wow. Got to my first command. My first command was right here in Norfolk, Virginia. And wow, I tell you, I got on that base. Woo. Uh, it was a lot of partying going on back then. And being I was 18, 19 years old, I wanted to do the same thing everybody else is doing, go to the club. And like I said, I was naive, though, still naive. I thought I knew something, but I was really naive. Uh, Hanging out in the clubs and going here, going there, and doing this and that. And I met a female, and she introduced me to my children's mom. And years went by, and we got married. And I wanted to be the best husband in the whole wide world of America. That's what I wanted to be.
Right.
But I didn't have nobody to show me how to do that because I was too honorary to even ask for help, although I needed it. That was the basis of my addiction, not reaching out asking for help. Had I done that, things might have been a little bit different than they are now today. But I'm still grateful. I learned how to forgive myself and move on from that because of the things I have done.
I appreciate you saying that. I appreciate you saying that's a part of your gratitude is you're grateful and you've accepted it and you moved on and you forgiving yourself. And of course, God is forgiving you too. And it did make you to be the man you are today because now you can go back and minister and teach and share your experience, strength, and hope in your testimony for someone that may have similar or relatable story or shoes. Maybe not the shoes, but the shoestrings. You may be the laces or the socks.
Right. There you go.
Yeah.
So what I mean by this is that I had reflected back on what I was taught. And what I was taught is how to be abusive to my wife. And that's exactly what I did. The same thing I was taught, I did the same exact thing to her because I didn't know no better.
Right. Me too. Absolutely.
And man, and the remarkable thing about it all is the forgiveness they gave to me. That right there. I couldn't forgive myself, but somebody else forgave me for stuff that I done. I wanted to hold on to this little handkerchief or this bag, or I didn't want to let it go. I had to learn something different. That's what I had to do. I had to learn something different. And fortunately, God took me away from them before any more harm was done. That's how I looked at it, and I explained that to my children. I went to prison, and I was able to start a different journey. And I say that to say because it took a long time for me to get to where I'm at. It took a lot of ups and downs, a lot of bumps and bruises. I didn't get here overnight.
Right.
I'm going to go back a little bit. That's right. I didn't get here overnight. Right. I didn't get to this promised land from yesterday.
Thank you for that.
I wish
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Thank you, because a lot of people need to hear that. Yes. Yes.
I wish it was just yesterday that I had got up and say, hey, I'm going to change my life.
It's peaks and valleys. It's ebbs and flows. It's ups and downs. It's not a straight line. And when it comes to recovery and the pathway to wellness and healing, it is not a straight line. Yeah. I appreciate you sharing that.
I didn't even know that I suffered from a mental disease. I thought I was normal, like normal people. 1992, I thought that I was the smartest person in the world, and I was going to get separated from the military on a drug and alcohol failure or something like that, diagnosis. So I couldn't tell them I was addicted to coke at the time. I could only say I was drinking alcohol because, you know, that would have been automatic. So this is my pseudo stupidity thinking. It often got me in trouble because I outthink my own self. I asked myself the question, and I answer that question.
Hmm.
Not a good thing. That's like going to the doctor for a broken leg and you're gonna tell the doctor how to fix your leg.
Hmm. Yeah.
It don't work. So that's the same thing. In 1992, I was diagnosed as alcoholic, and I went to a level 3 rehab there in Newport, Rhode Island. And I looked at all the other stupid stuff. I looked at the good things that I had. I still had a job. I still had a car. Still had my family. I still had this stuff. I just ain't lost it yet. But I wasn't a millionaire, so I didn't have to hide my liquor in a toilet. I
Right.
wasn't a millionaire, so I didn't have to hide my liquor in my desk drawer at work. So I didn't relate to them because I didn't feel like I related to them. I felt they was on a different level of alcoholic, like it was a level to this thing. Like I made that up myself.
Right, we do that. How did you real? Because we got maybe about five minutes. Because I'm gonna need you to come back and do a part two because there's so many. I know we're just getting into this, and I need you to come back to finish.
Just getting there.
Just
Right.
getting there. But I wanted to ask you this real quick. That first stint in rehab and rehabilitation and treatment, how did that even start? Was that engaged? How was that even a thought or something suggested to you that you took it and you was like, okay, I need to go? Could you explain that to the listeners and to
Right.
the viewers? Because that the way you say it is that there's different levels. I thought there was different levels. I wasn't a millionaire, but I wasn't unmanageable. Life hadn't become,
Right.
I wasn't losing, but there was a problem. But how was that initiated for you?
So so initially, what happened was we had I was assigned to a ship here in Norfolk,
Hmm.
and I started losing my way. Then I leave the command, go to parties, leave the command when I'm on duty, and go back to the hood and stuff like that, and get drunk and high and come back. I sold drugs while I was in the military and all that. So my chief told me to don't make this cruise and told me to get some orders somewhere else. However, he had sent me to ASAP to get screened,
Hmm.
and they said I was an alcoholic. I need to go because I was out of control. Um, I was selling drugs, and I just didn't care. I was in the military selling drugs, and that just didn't mix. I wasn't no kingpin, nothing like that, but that's what I'd done.
Right.
I wasn't proud of it, but that's what had happened.
Hmm.
Uh, I was living a lie basically, and I wanted to straighten up because I didn't want to lose everything. So I was explaining it to my chief, and my chief was like, "Well, you can't make this cruise." So I got transferred to Newport, Rhode Island, and I messed up on my command again. I messed up. So they sent me to the doctor. The doctor saw that I had a level 3 uh, referral. So they
Hmm.
sent me back to that referral, and they put me in a rehab, inpatient. Uh, I thought my life was going to become better. I thought things were going to come out better and all that. What happened was me and my wife got into it because I gave my ex-girlfriend my home address, and she wrote me a letter, and it got to the house, and me and my wife got into it at the time. Hot, stupid, right? I know. And I know people say I would have never done that. I know. We don't think that we're going to do anything. We're
Until we
going to do
do it,
all of
until it's done.
it. Right?
Yeah.
So So that snowball effect, I had to go to a marriage counselor and I went to court and all this other stuff and all that. And that's how it really started.
Hmm.
And they saw that I was supposed to went to level 3 and I went. Now, when I went to level 3, I didn't understand what I was going to. So when I came out, I still was, I didn't understand. I thought I was okay. I thought because I went, everything was fixed now. I didn't know it was the beginning of this journey. It was taking so long. And I said it again. I was introduced in 1992 to it.
Yeah.
1992. And that's how big that the layers, because I didn't ever think, I never thought that I was something was wrong.
Right.
And because I didn't ever think nothing was wrong, nothing got fixed. Nothing. It was only until I admitted that something was wrong and asked the question, how can I fix it?
Right.
That I was able to be able to get started. and I had to start with my mental disease. Um, that took a long journey because I refused to take medicine. I didn't think that I had a problem with anything. Um, in '94, um, in the military, before I got out in '94, I had a baby. I messed around with my wife and cheated on her, and the girl got pregnant. And I have a son who was born in '94. Uh, I have 6 children now. Um, that '94 baby is one that I was ashamed of because I did some things I had no business doing because I was married at the time.
Hmm.
However, I let the little head think more than the big head,
Right.
and I went out there. That changed the trajectory of my life forever, and I had to forgive myself totally because of that. Because I had birthed a child that I didn't want. Here it is. My mom said the same thing to me. She didn't want me.
Yeah.
And here it is. I brought a child in the world that I didn't want because it wasn't by my wife.
You said something earlier that stood out to me, and about how we sometimes the environment that we in, we take on those attributes, because if we're not taught or shown any better, we think that's the way that it is and that's the way that it should be, and that can lead us down a very dangerous slope, a dangerous path, that not only impacts us but others around us. Because a lot of what I saw growing up too impacted me in the way that I treated women, in the way that I treated myself, and just in general, just the way I treated people. And because I thought that was the norm, I thought that was the attributes, I thought that was the characteristics of what a man, whatever that was at that time, was supposed to be. So you said something that, and then it comes around full circle, because I felt the same way. At that time, I didn't want to be like my daddy. I didn't want to be like my dad in a lot of aspects, in a lot of regards, but I turned out some of those attributes, some of those characteristics were right there that I saw happen, that I swore I did not want to be a part of who I was. So I can definitely relate to when you said that about your dad and about your mom, those things that came up about in your adulthood, in early adulthood. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
we going to pause it real quick right there. I just want to get, and I know you've been saying a lot of things that you're grateful for, but we're going to come back, Joseph, and do a part two, because there's some things that I want to ask you about, and I know there's some other experience that I hope that you want to share. But real quick before we go, I just want, and I ask everybody this because I like to let people know, and I like to focus on the gratitude part of healing. So give me a couple things that you are grateful for your
Oh,
wellness and for your recovery just for today. What are you grateful for?
man, I'm grateful for waking up. I'm if they said the statistics out there about 200,000 people a day die, and I'm amongst the living. I'm grateful for that, first of all.
Hmm.
Second of all, I'm grateful for is because I have a chance to do a different than I did yesterday. I have an opportunity to do something different and better for today that I didn't have the opportunity to do yesterday. I'm grateful that I have an opportunity to help those or reach out to those who need help, like I did. I didn't know nothing about mental health, and I'm grateful for someone who gave me that and told me to pick the phone up, and I called a mental health doctor or the crisis line to help me before I killed myself. Um, I'm grateful for forgiveness. I'm grateful that I was able to finally forgive myself for the horrific and horrible things that I have done to people, um, the things that I've done to my family. And the most thing I'm grateful for is that they even forgave me for that. That's
Hmm.
that's remarkable in itself,
Hmm.
um, for the things that I've done. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be on this platform here to give this and share this, my experience, strength, and hope. And I know some days it wasn't easy. Like Derek said, I went down a dark hole, and I didn't think I ever was going to come out. Um, I'm grateful, man.
Yeah. And I
I don't,
thank you.
I don't,
No, go ahead.
I
No,
don't
go ahead.
know. I don't know. how to end the gratitude because
You can't, and that's the point. That's the point. That's the point. You can't, and that's the point of, hey, what are you grateful for, man? I'm grateful for today. I'm grateful for my God and my understanding who I call Jesus Christ. I'm grateful for my food. For me, I'm grateful for a shower. I'm grateful for a roof over my head. I'm grateful that I can still spend time with my parents. I'm grateful that my parents can see me clean and healthy because I put them through hell. I'm grateful
yeah,
that I can show my children that no matter what happens, you can always you can always get up if life knocks
right,
you down because there is hope. I get to be that example for them. Like, dang, daddy went through war, daddy went through all his mental health, daddy even went through addiction. And look at God and look at my daddy. So I'm grateful for being able to give back and be of service to people so that they know that there is hope and there are people that can help them get out of that pit and that darkness. Our hand is always is reaching down, and we'll even jump in that pit with you. So,
that
yeah,
that's what let me get this last little bit out
yeah,
before.
absolutely,
That's what I mean by being grateful for. See, I'm grateful that I don't have to do it no more. I can follow
yeah,
I can follow his will and do his will
yes,
unconditionally. That's
unconditional,
what I'm grateful for.
absolutely, absolutely.
So
But listen, no, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
so I'm grateful that I can ask for help and get the help that I need. That's
Yes,
the other part to it, right?
that's
Because my
very important.
will, yeah, my will, I just seen what my will did. It caused a lot of tragedy,
Yeah,
and that's not what I want. So I
that's
want God's will to be done, and
yeah.
whatever His will is, I'm all for it.
All for it and all faithful to it. Yeah, I'm with you with that. When you, that's a good way to look at it. I've seen what my will can do, and I don't want my will to ever be in control again. So let God's will take over my life, and I have faith in that will for that sovereignty that God has, because He everything works out for the good of God.
That's
Absolutely
right.
for my life. Yes. Listen, we're going to get a part two because I really want you to finish up what you got. I really want to get. I have some questions that I want to ask you, and I want you to come back and do a part two and finish up your story, Mr. Joseph, my brother Joseph.
Sure.
Listen, I love you so much, and I'm so grateful and honored that you up here on my platform and taking time to be of service and to give this experience, strength, and hope in your testimony. So I love you very, very much.
Love you too, brother.
Okay. Until next
Appreciate
time,
you.
yeah, I'll talk to you soon. Have a good one.
Peace.
And that's what we do here, ladies and gentlemen. That's what we do. Experience, strength, and hope. Play the tape. Got to play that tape. Listen, with hope comes love. With love comes faith. And with faith comes recovery. I can't, but we can. We can do this together. Connection, community, togetherness. This disease of addiction will isolate us. It will tear us apart because it comes to kill, steal, and destroy. That's the objective of this disease. There are people like myself, like Mr. Joseph, like Brother Joseph, that all the people that you've seen me interview and heard of them, they will jump down in that pit with you because they know the way out. And we will figure it out together. Never alone, never again, just for today. Listen, I love you. I'll see you next time. Until then, peace.